So, hello everyone. Welcome and thank you for joining us. I'm Tanya Roby, and I'm here with my dear friend Poa. And we're really looking forward to taking this time to just do a little storytelling to share. One of the things that I am most grateful for is when I get to meet people who teach me something about myself that I didn't even know I was seeking, to get to see other people's lives and what they're doing that's working from them, and then to be able to take to take some of those nuggets and feed them into my life so that I can always be growing and improving. And I feel really honored and happy to have only met Poa last summer. And instantly, I think in our first interaction, I was like, oh, hello, old friend. And Poa's even wearing a t-shirt that was from a town I used to live in Guatemala. And it was like, how, what? Like, just amazing. So if you already know Poa, you know what a light she is and what she brings into the world. And if you're meeting Poa for the first time now, Poa is a mama of a gorgeous little one. And she also has an incredible story or history of discovering the way that food and what we eat and put in and on the body can make a huge difference in how we feel in the everyday. But one of the things that most draws me to Poa is that look you can already see in her eyes. The way she zings when she touches purpose. And over these last many months, how some of that, the volume on purpose has been growing. So thank you, Poa, for your time. Thank you for saying yes to this time together. And I wanted to just begin by asking you a little bit about, will you tell us, how did Young Living come into your life? And let's just start.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks. Thanks, Tanya. Well, I was first introduced to Young Living oils probably 6 or so years before I really started using them as like lifestyle, I guess I would say. A friend, introduced me to them, and I always thought they were amazing and thought they were a someday for my life. And I guess that someday came like a year and a half ago. I was probably a year postpartum, raising, nurturing my little guy, also trying to keep my business going, and pretty kind of physical, a lot going on, product-based business. And I was exhausted and overwhelmed. But really what kind of gave me, had the leap to get the oils were, if I was dealing with a physical issue from childbirth, and I was just kind of seeking everything that I could and just trying all things, and the oils came back into my life, and I was just like, yes, I'm trying this, I'm doing this. And I'm kind of one of those people that I value getting the best deal. And so instead of just getting these 3 oils that, were recommended to me, I was like, yes, I'm getting the starter kit and these oils and, the whole, like, doing this. And because I was using these oils consistently every day, and one of the oils, if you're familiar with Young Living, obviously you are, Tanya, but was Valor, happened to be one of the 3 oils. And so I was using this, which is a very supportive oil, using it consistently. And I guess over time, like, more than seeing a difference in this physicalness I was dealing with, is the emotional shifts I started feeling, and really like noticing it wasn't like an immediate, oh my God, all is well, but it was like this gradual, like, feel better, gradual lift, gradual, not as overwhelmed with life. And so I started looking into, like, what are these oils doing, and what can they be used for? And I was exhausted, I was overwhelmed, I was tired, but I wasn't sleeping even though I was exhausted. And I found another oil called Endoflex, which is really hormonally supportive, and that's what I found, and was using that again consistently. And so it was that, like, drive to feel, I don't know, I really do feel like I was kind of at my lowest, and I didn't want to get any lower. And so I was determined to keep, using this tool I was finding to help feel better. And then gradually it just things, I was just, yeah, a lift was happening, and it wasn't perfection by any means, but it felt like I had this tool, um, instead of just doing this automatic dive into like the tailspin of overwhelm and crazy that I was in at that moment,
Mm,
of trying to keep everything afloat.
mm,
And so, um, yeah, well, maybe, yeah, I guess it was a physical issue that brought me to the oils. It was definitely an emotional support that made me just recognize that I didn't want to not have these in my life. And so, yeah, I just started getting more into them and researching, and what else, how else can these help? And I think the most interesting aha kind of slap in the face for me was, I've been a farmer, a gardener, a plant person, a foodie, a potion maker. I make all these salves and lotions and different things. And I'd been using other brand essential oils in my potions and lotions, and kind of had always just seen them as a smell, and which is funny because I see quality and consistency in food as such an important piece. So it was such an aha, made sense to me when I started using the oils. But I was recognizing with the consistency and using those Young Living oils, this like power of purity with a good quality oil, like, and what that actually meant and what it actually was doing. And like, you can't feel a difference without that. And so, I had this whole shelf of other oils, and I've never used them since, because and it's and that, just knowing me, is a testament. Like, I don't like to waste anything. And I thought, I'll use those for something, I'll, whatever. But I just couldn't diffuse them, and I couldn't put them in my potions, and I couldn't um, put them on my body or around my kid or anything, because it just, like, I could feel the difference, um,
mm.
from consistently using Young Living oil. So
That's
yeah, that's
amazing.
kind of my gist.
No, thank you. And if I can, I just want to chime in there.
Yeah.
I love what you're saying. People that know you know, like you said already, with all of your relationship of food and being a foodie and farms and where food comes from. I think that, in my life, was it like even as recent as maybe 10 years ago, where there was kind of this huge wake up call that, like, the food that was in the grocery store wasn't necessarily food. It didn't have that medicinal component that natural foods does, right? And I think that, it's so funny because when you were sharing your story of like, oh yeah, I used to use these other oils, I remembered actually Gary Young, who's the founder of Young Living. So Young Living, for those of you that aren't already familiar who are watching, Young Living is an incredible online health food store, which does so much more than just offer essential oils. They're really a global movement, working with not only providing the highest quality essential oils like Poa is talking about. When I started using these and feeling how they're different in my life and in my body, it made a difference, and I couldn't go back and start using those other ones. And when Gary Young, who at the beginning was a nutritionist and was formulating much more supplements and products like this, somebody said to him, what do you think about essential oils? And his response was, I think very much where so many people who are oiling now, where there's this unknown, where because of labeling laws in the United States, you only need 5% pure oil in a bottle for that to be labeled pure. So I think many of us have had experiences of using oils and having kind of mixed effects. And then now, Paul, I hear you talking about that, the difference of when you started using Young Living essential oils. And again, for those of you that are newer to Young Living, what makes us different is that we have all of our own farms, and we were founded by a farmer who, to this day, the company stands in giving back more to the land than we take. So there's this beautiful cycle of, I get to feel better in my body and at the same time be a part of something that's actually healing the planet, that's giving back to the earth and also giving back to humanity. So thank you for that distinction, Poa. I heard you say in what you shared, and thank you so much for your story so far, this piece of like where you were when you got started was overwhelmed and tired and working with some physical stuff. Those of you watching, like, can anybody relate to that, right? Part of being human. And that now that you're using them, there's a difference. Can you talk a little bit more, and I know you've shared some already, but just about what else do you notice in the terms of shift, like from where you were when you were started, both in your physical and emotional world, to how you feel today about your life moving forward. What's the same and what's different?
Well, yeah, like I said, it's not like I'm, you know, no, no problems here or something like that. But it's just like I feel like I have tools to reach for, and that's whether that's like a physical ache or pain, something I'm going through, or even just what I've learned, what they can do emotionally when you breathe them in like straight into your limbic brain, and they can change the channel or switch your emotions. And um, I was talking to someone else recently and recognizing that I use a lot of oils like preventatively to start my day. Like I want to go into my day feeling this way. Um,
Mm.
energetic, joyful, stress-free, like um, abundant, whatever it is, calm, whatever. And then the same thing at night. Like I want to like close my day with that, and like how do I want to go to sleep? So using different calming oils for that. So it's almost like a preventative reach in a lot of ways. And I think what's interesting with the oils for me, because I have been, such a wellness seeker, foodie. I make tea and I make tinctures, and I like the potions and all that. Is now in my life, the 2-year-old and running a business and a little bit more fullness, is they feel like the quickest hit for me in that natural wellness world, like versus like I'm still making teas and I'm still, eating well, but, to sit and meditate for 20 minutes or whatever to calm myself down versus a 2 to 10 second ritual with an oil is a quicker place to get me in a calmer mind than sitting and meditating for 20 minutes, which is still a goal of mine. It's not like those things are completely cast aside. But right now in my life, it just, I guess, feels like a quick hit to realign, to get back into my day and be able to do the things that I'm striving for in
Yeah.
wellness as well. So yeah,
Awesome. So
that's
it's
how I
like,
see them.
not only do you have this like preventative self-care, I can choose to start my day with more intention and intentionally bring in frequencies, right? For again, those of you maybe less familiar with oils, we're working with a living vibration, and I love that you have so much experience with teas and tinctures. And of course, those are amazing. And, the potency of it with an essential oil, you're working with the essence of life force, right? So that piece of 1 drop of young living peppermint is medicinally about the same as 28 cups of tea. If you can have that power. And the
Mm-hmm.
other thing that I love, again, just to give a little more language, is in this whole philosophy of how do I use and lean into nature as that primary support. This idea, and I love how you verbalize it, just like in the morning, this is what I do. Of with essential oils, we're essentially pouring in more light or bringing up the immune system. We're booning the function of the body systems so that your body, which was born brilliant, can go ahead and keep healing you the way it knows how to. But in today's day and age, with the way the planet has been manipulated, with the bumps and bruises that come with being human, we need support more than ever. And what I hear you saying is like, I have a whole lot more support now than I had at
Mm-hmm.
the beginning. And Paula, I know that you, like me, really got into the oils for solutions for your body to feel better in your everyday, emotionally, spiritually, physically. And I also know you've got an entrepreneurial spirit, and you were already, working full time as a mama, and with your own private practice. Can you speak a little bit into why you said yes to leveraging the home-based business opportunity of sharing Young Living, doing that kind of outreach and education so that other folks can learn about some of these solutions, and at the same time, you can build some residual income to support you and your family? Can you say more about that?
Right. Yeah. Well, yeah. So like I said, I was getting more into the oils and the lifestyle of using them, and was naturally sharing, about them, because that's what I do about everything that I'm into, my latest thing. Um, and I learned about the business opportunity, which is, pretty. what I think, I guess I like about it is it's pretty flexible. It's like you don't have to say yes, you don't have to say no. You just can be doing doing whatever you're doing. So I was sharing and um, tiptoeing maybe into the business world of it. And then I think it was after I really learned the history of the company and at the Young Living Convention heard the farmers speak. Like, I think that's what just like really spoke to my soul. And, like the passion that these farmers were dancing around it's on stage, excitedly talking about the plants, but not just the plants, the root system and the soil, and how the farms and land is treated, how the people on the farms are treated. Like, it goes like way beyond like chemical inputs or non-chemical inputs. It goes, as far as farming practices, it was like energetic love was being poured into these plants and these people on these farms, and like totally blew me away. And it felt like yes, I want to, it gave me this commitment to the products, but also way beyond like the commitment that this company has to the land and the commitment this company has to the world and the people, like in the foundations it's supporting. And yeah, so it just like totally blew me open and was like, yes, and just realistically, like I would love to support my family this way, being able to share quality, clean products that support people and support the world and aren't bringing more toxins into our life. And so yeah, it makes sense.
Yes. Yes, thank you. One of my favorite quotes from Gary Young, the founder, is actually painted on the wall when you walk into the warehouse in Utah, where it says something along the lines of, I've never made any products for a profit. I've only ever made them to meet a need. And
Mm-hmm.
one of the things Gary said many times in the last several weeks of his life was, the world doesn't need more salespeople. We need more healers. We need more healers. And what I think Gary meant by that is, it's what you're speaking into, Poa. It's like, well, once I got to get onto the farms myself, and I saw with my own two eyes how these are organic and sustainably farmed, how the employees at Young Living are treated and how they interact with others. When I got to see, touch, taste, and feel the bigness of the heart, that this is really a grassroots movement that's about, sharing outward to others so that we can feel better in ourselves, that things shifted, things opened for you. And so again, just to give more context for some of you guys watching, if you don't already know, Young Living is a word of mouth company. It means that instead of spending, millions and billions in putting that money into multi-million-dollar marketing firms, they spread that money into the houses of people like me and people like Poa. And what's amazing is that what the business opportunity actually looks like is that it's partnering with this amazing company, right? So Poa owns her own company that's focused on outreach and education, while Young Living gets to do the work of continuing to expand in their fields and do the science and the deep, deep work that is reaching out globally. And I think that what's so exciting, to get to see and hear in interacting with you is like, how many people watching this like already feel like life is way too busy? How could I possibly fit anything in? And to hear that there's this potential, right, or this very real opportunity where you absolutely can work any amount, right? And how
Mm-hmm.
you can do it in the timing that works within your day and within your dance with your son who's still so young, and within the, all the other pieces that you have that you're holding. It's really beautiful. So just to put it a little bit more into the physical world, I know when I started this profession, it was so abstract. I'm like, what does that look like? How do you do
Mm-hmm.
it? I know that there's so much fullness in your life. In just like an average week of life in Poa, what does it look like to do Young Living as a business for you?
Well, on some level, I'm still figuring that out. But really, when I think of that question, it's just connecting with people and supporting people. So, um, you know, helping people I feel like everyone embraces, because Young Living is known for essential oils, but there's so many more products, supplement and food and even makeup. And, there's so much going on with Young Living. So everyone, I feel like, embraces it differently. And I feel like just navigating people into what resonates with them, and sharing, my experiences and suggesting, other things that are out there, because I don't even know how many oils there are, but, hundreds of oils, you don't know all those scents, don't know what resonates with you. You don't know what, you want support with, or maybe, and then you're like, I haven't even tiptoed into the supplements or the Ningxia or the, the makeup line. It's like total toxin free, so it's like, there's so much. So I just see it as connection with people. And you spoke a little bit to the frequencies of the oils, and that's like probably something that's blown my mind the most, is, the frequency, and using those frequencies changes our frequency. And so when you're working with someone that has embraced the lifestyle of really using these products regularly, that their frequencies start changing and upping, and you work with awesome people that are just jazzed. And so that's how I see it, is just connecting with high vibing people.
Yes. Right? Ask yourself, everybody listening, like, if I had a little more connection in my life, how would I feel?
Mm-hmm.
And if I had more high vibe people in my life, how would I feel? It's interesting. Sometimes we go to trainings where there's a bunch of us from Young Living and then a bunch from all of these other companies. And I've had multiple people come and say, I know when there's Young Living people here. And I say, why? Said, you all kind of glow a little. You shine, and I think there's truth in that. It's like you're pouring on light every day. And who doesn't need more of that right now in our world,
Mm-hmm.
right? But the other piece that really touches my heart as you're speaking is like, it's one thing great that we get to be messengers, to help people learn about these high vibe products that can really lift it up. But I think that one of the epidemics that we're in as a culture right now, thanks to social media, which is also an amazing way of connection, is that I think most of us are starved for connection. Most of us are seeking more community and more support. And I think that, what I'm hearing you say is, I think it really taps into kind of the natural state of being human, in that when I find something that works for me, or even if I eat a delicious meal at a restaurant or I read a really good book, like, it is my instinct to want to tell the people I know about those solutions, about that delicious meal, about that incredible massage therapist, about that amazing and delicious tasting sauerkraut, right? It's like, it's in our good nature to love on people. And so I hear you saying that essentially this is an opportunity to create a career out of loving on people, out of making time even in your full life to check in and offer solutions and to be in discovery together. I loved you said, like, I don't even know how many oils there are, but I'm always learning more, right? And to be able to stay in conscious conversation about that, where you can bring people up with you, is awesome. So thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
You've shared so much deliciousness. We're just about out of time. I'm curious if there's any final nugget or well-wishing or love note you want to offer to those of us watching.
Well, I don't know. Like, I think, everyone's time, like, people that embrace Young Living all come into it in their own timing. And some people drag their feet for years, like I did. And some people hear about it and are bam, into it and stoked. And I think it's trying to force that timing on someone is, kind of misaligns, their truth with it, or how they resonate with it, and I think it's just important to, just respect that, but like be open, and, and if it is aligning with you, that's awesome. And, if you want more information, that's awesome, but it's just, I think it lands in you when it needs to, if it's going to. So, but it's such a beautiful thing that, like, I think once you're in it and using the oils and using the products and really recognizing that vibration, you're just like, everyone needs this now kind of feeling, But but also, everyone's in their own place with the journey. So I think that's a piece I've been reflecting on.
The value of right timing. Thank you. That's
Yeah.
right. The
Yeah.
value of right timing. And I think
Yeah.
that's a beautiful offering as we close, wherein, and even that message of like the world needs more healers. I believe that the only ones we can actually heal, right, is ourselves.
Hmm.
That is a choice that I have to make, and that only I can choose my timing of that.
Hmm.
I think that is what I love about the essential oils approach to, lifting life and lifting vibration is about that. Like, hey, I'm actually in a conscious relationship with this body I'm wearing and with this life that
Hmm.
I'm living in. Um, of course, that can only happen in your own right timing. So thank you for that.
Hmm.
And on that note, if there were pieces of what you heard today that sparked your curiosity, I think for many of us, just discovering, not through our ears, but through our skin and our felt sense, what these vibrations can feel like going on and in, can be really powerful. So if you're brand new to oils and curious to learn more, please reach out to Poa. You can private message her, or if this video was shared to you by a friend, reach out to whoever shared it with you. And if the idea of being able to champion a global mission that is lifting the environmental standards of how we do big business across the world, and especially here in the United States, or are curious about the idea of being able to work super part-time from home around your life, or just the idea of being able to champion wellness any amount, maybe that's for you and your sister, or maybe it's you're looking more at building an empire like I'm doing, like, great, wonderful, let us know so that we can support you. So again, if you have questions, even if it's just a curiosity, reach out to Poa, or the person that shared you this video. And Poa, I just want to thank you for your light and for your passion and for the way that you have allowed yourself to open, and how as you transform and shine, I love the sun on your face right now, the way that light is like it's reaching into the world. I'm already over here, all the way over here in New York, and I do get phone calls of like, this is how Poa has touched my life. This is how our community is changing because of Poa's work. It makes me cry. So thank you.
Thank you, Tanya. I love you. Yeah, you're awesome.
And thank
Okay.
you all for being here, and have a wonderful afternoon.
Yeah. Thanks.